DeMeco Ryans with an interesting vibe. Let's react to what DeMeco had to say on the eve of a couple of awesome days. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked.
What did DeMeco say? My goodness, it is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans digital content. This video brought to you by Sleeper, by far the best app, hands down, for sports, whether it's following scores, whether it's communicating with folks, whether it's your fantasy league, whether it's a survivor pool, whatever it is, Sleeper's got you covered, high or lower as well. One of the best games to play, and we're going to play it based on some of the things that DeMeco Ryans had to say. I hope you will join myself and Cody Stoots very shortly at Spanky's Sharpstown location on Bel Air Boulevard. Going to be a fun time. John McClain's going to be there. I think Texans Cap's going to be there. It should be a really, really fun time for sure. Let's jump right into this. Let's listen to some of the things that DeMeco Ryans said. And I think DeMeco is battling something that we spoke on after postgame. He had a really big smile on his face and was really kind of bubbly. Giddy is the word I would use on Tuesday. I think he was trying to keep a positive outlook, but now he's kind of tightened up a little bit. And you can tell that DeMeco Ryans is focused and just wants to play. I think if he could have played instead of Green Bay and Washington today, I think DeMeco probably would have taken the NFL up on that, but that is not the case. The Texans got to wait till Monday, and DeMeco Ryans, pretty intense. Let's react to the best of what DeMeco had to say here in the locker room. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's hear from the head coach of the Texans a few days before they play.
Good.
The Buccaneers front, not just Vea, but Reddick and some of the other personnel they have. What do you see from these guys collectively?
The Bucs are a really, really good team. Starting up with their front, Vita Vea is the guy that gets everything going. Adding Reddick on the outside, like really good group. Diaby, ton of great players, guys who can get after you in the running game, also in the passing game. Not only physical players, athletic guys who can swim gaps. They do a really good job with their stunts on the interior. So tough job again up front, but that's every week in the NFL. So we have our work cut out for us.
Outside of Joe and what he does on the field, like we all know what he does, what does he bring you guys off the field that you guys are missing from him, just as a player and a guy?
Yeah, we're rolling with the guys that are here. That's the main thing. We miss Joe, miss his energy and his enthusiasm and everything that he brought to our team. But we continue to press forward. Hope he's doing well.
Hope he's doing well. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Don't you think? Am I reading too much into this? I hope he's doing well. Wouldn't you know if he's doing well? Hope he's doing well. That's kind of for the people that are kind of saying, all right, well, this is going to be longer than 4 weeks. I mean, when the coach comes out and says, I hope he's doing well, like, wouldn't you know or have some sort of idea?
We miss Joe, miss his energy and his enthusiasm and everything that he brought to our team. But we continue to press forward. Hope he's doing well.
I will say DeMeco does like, and they like it when guys are in the building rehabbing. Diggs didn't do it. We saw Diggs twice when he could get on Netflix with the Beyonce appearance, and then on the playoffs when he could get on national TV on the sidelines of the Chiefs game. He wasn't in the building. He wasn't under contract, so I get it, whatever. But Tank Dell, he pretty much lives there. He's there all the time. Jalen Petrie, he rehabbed there last year. Jimmy Ward's still there. Jimmy Ward's still doing his thing. We'll probably get some Jimmy Ward news pretty soon, I'm guessing. And I think the guy to follow for any Jimmy Ward news, you already know.
Hey, bro. Alpha Aaron here.
But that's kind of weird. I hope he's doing well. Okay. All righty. Go back to coach.
Challenging in going up against a guy like Emeka Egbuka, rookie, only second game, all of that.
Hey, Buka, he shined in his opening game. He was explosive. He can catch the ball. He's a threat at all 3 levels of the field. That's where he shines. And everybody saw the 2 passes that he caught for touchdowns. Just an explosive player, fast. He moves all across the formation. So we definitely have to have eyes for Igbuka and also Mike Evans. We know those are their two top targets. Baker did a really nice job of finding those guys throughout that game.
You talked to us about the disappointment, the penalties. How is that message being received, and what is that message that you deliver your guys this week?
Yeah, the message for our guys is just do what we do well, and that's it. Like, own our fundamentals, own our technique, control the things that we can control. You control how you prepare, you control how you execute, and that's strictly up to you. So if our guys are dialed in and just execute the right way, there's no elaborate meeting or coaching point about it. We know how to play football the right way. We just got to go out and do it.
Obviously, you've been around the game a long time. Is there a different feeling to Monday night games?
Yeah, Monday night is always a little different, right? It's always a special game because, you know, you're the only show on. Well, it used to be. Now we got double headers. So it definitely changes a little bit. But Monday is always special. You know the entire league is watching. Your peers are watching as they're preparing for their next week. So that's always, you know, in the back of your mind.
When it comes to Baker Mayfield and some of the things he does to not just get the ball out, to be accurate with where he's going with it, what have you seen from him, progression as a quarterback?
Yeah, Baker's done a really nice job. The thing that sets him apart and what I've seen him grow as a quarterback is how he escapes the pocket, right? Whether that's keeping his eyes downfield to find open receivers or just scrambling to get the first down. He does a really great job. He's gutsy. He has everything you want in a quarterback, tough guy. He scrambles to make plays, run and pass. So you just have to play together. And that's what we preach all the time is the rush, staying after it, playing together, and our guys in coverage, we have to make sure we're plastering and staying in coverage, covering the guys twice, but because we know he can escape from anywhere.
All right, there you go. He's talking about Baker. We'll get back to Coach in a sec. Let's go to the soup real quick. The super chats here on the locker room. Hope you join us at Spanky's tomorrow. Gonna be fun.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
And just to be clear, they got practice tomorrow and Saturday. So the injury report today, we saw that the same guys were out. Tomorrow will be the day where we'll probably get a good grasp, just like we usually do on Thursday. Today was basically their first day. Not basically, it was their first day of practice, but we're kind of trained in this community and with the way that we cover the team, that's how it goes. Malik on the soup says, Cody doing too much earlier. 1 sack for OL was okay. It was 3. But yeah, I don't think the O-line was great. DeMeco thinks it was good. But yeah, they gave up 3. And yeah, I don't know that I would judge it just by sacks, but yeah, it actually wasn't 1, it was 3. Appreciate you, Malik. Back to DeMeco.
It seems like those primetime games we talked about how they're special things of that nature, that some players play better in those situations, some players sometimes can struggle a little bit. What do you think is the key for players playing well in those big primetime spotlight games?
Yeah, again, every game to me is really, it's the same. Once the ball is kicked off, I always say this, like, it's football. It doesn't matter. You playing on Monday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. Like, it's about how you prepare, how you show up for those 60 minutes. So it's not about you're going to play better because you're on Monday night or Sunday night. That's pie in the sky. Like, you got to line up, play football, execute, do what you're supposed to do, no matter when the ball, what day, what time. Football is football. So that's what we got to go do. We got to go play good football no matter when, no matter where.
Yeah. Buccaneers defense, they use Winfield a couple different ways.
Look at him light up. He's kind of a hardo right now. He can't even hide it when it comes to Antoine Winfield, who, by the way, he went after Ross Blacklock. I know we have like a long list, but local guy went after Ross Blacklock. But look at him kind of light up when he talks about Antoine Winfield.
What have you kind of made him, what he does and some of the experience he has at that back part of the
playmaker. Winfield's definitely a playmaker. Todd does a good job moving him around. He's smart, versatile player. You can trust him. He moves around, put a lot on his plate. And that's the thing that jumps out to me. He's a playmaker. So we got to have eyes for him. And we just, at the end of the day, they have a lot of good playmakers. So you can't just watch, one guy. They got a lot of guys on their defense. That's why they've been good. They're a talented group. We just got to go out and execute our offense the proper way.
You had mentioned the defense needing to be together. what they're doing. With the group you have and so many of them having been here before and played together before, do you think that's something your defense does well?
Yeah. I mean, we watch them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a staple for us. It's all 11 guys working together. That's what we do. That's how we are a good defense. And when we operate that way, we're a great defense, right? But if we have one person that's off, that's when, bad things happen. So it's a matter of us just making sure we stay together, make sure all 11 guys are doing what they're supposed to do.
Coach, when you go back and you watch the film, what are some of the things that you can do to maybe alleviate some of the pressure off of CJ this week?
Yeah, there's no pressure on CJ. We line up and we play ball.
Hardo. Golly, DeMeco, I like this.
What was kind of your evaluation of how Nick handled himself as kind of a first-time play caller, the first real time he did that?
Nick did a good job, right, with the play calls. At the end of the day,
Caley
we
did well.
have to just put ourselves in position where we can actually call the game, right? We're behind the sticks a lot, shot ourselves in the foot a lot where we were in second and long and just third and long a lot. That's not a great place to be as the first time play calling your first game. So if we can play well together and stay on schedule, stay on track, then we can see how the game is called.
Yeah, it looks like sometimes Todd will kind of have like a bunch of guys at the line of scrimmage and sometimes send them, sometimes draw out. What challenges is that?
This is always the worst type of DeMeco answers, by the way. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but he's asking specifically about Todd Bowles. Like, what kind of challenges is it when someone's exotic? Sometimes he wants to go in depth, but then he'll just be like, different coaches do different things, different ways.
I guess bring throughout the week when it comes to game planning for that. And what challenge is that exotic looks that you can't present for an offense?
There are many different looks. Many defenses do a lot of different things, moving guys around, disguising. That's a staple, I think, for all defenses. So you see it every week. It's nothing grand or nothing new. We just have to make sure we're getting to the line of scrimmage in time. We can ID what we need to ID and execute our plays.
Have there been things you've seen this week that have helped you see this team come together a little bit more? You said you have to play together. This team has to.
Yeah, our team is together. It's not the building isn't burning down. We're together. We didn't execute right on some plays that didn't turn out good for us. We ended up losing the game. But our team is together. Our team has never not been together. We're together. We're ready to go play on Monday night. That's what it's about for us.
And Coach, just to clarify what I was asking, I didn't mean any pressure as far as CJ for himself. I meant from an offensive line standpoint.
Yeah, I thought our offensive line did a good job. Again, in the game, we can help ourselves by stepping up in the pocket on a couple of the sacks that happened. But again, I thought we had clean pockets versus the Rams as well. So there are a lot of good things that happened versus the Rams. It's just they made more plays than we made, and that's the bottom line. We hurt ourselves in the red zone defensively. We were down in the red zone 3 times. 2 times we gave up touchdowns in the red zone, right? We stop them. We make them kick field goals there, right? We're sitting here telling a different story. So, again, it'll always be about us and what we do, how we execute. We execute the right way, we'll put ourselves in favorable position to win games. All right? Thank you.
Coach. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with DeMeco. And it was interesting, I'll say, but it wasn't new, where the defense has a good effort, the offense clearly doesn't, and the offense gets praised and the defense gets criticized. This was the first thing we talked about on postgame. It was the first words: reality versus the overall mindset. And I think there's multiple layers of this whenever we start talking about DeMeco or DeMeco, depending on if you think there's an O in DeMeco, just like there wasn't an O in Dirk or D in Dirk Nowitzki because he didn't play any defense. This is a defensive-minded coach. And the investments they have are on the defense. Denico Autry's not even playing. He's a veteran, and you have a deep D line, and he's there, and he's taking up a large chunk of money that could potentially get you a guard. Jalen Petre's getting paid like an elite nickel cornerback, and he covers like a linebacker. And the difference in quality of unit is it's night and day. So the reality is, yes, the defense probably needs to make more stops in the red zone. But you got to wonder if this mindset is something that's just going to be a theme for the time being. I'm not sitting here. I'm not down on Nick Caley. I don't expect a lot from Nick Caley. And the defense is going to make it to where they're not going to have to light up the scoreboard. But DeMeco's dealing in reality, but you just got to wonder if this is some sort of mindset that's going to be one of DeMeco's problems, is that the offenses are going to be bad. Because Cody brought up a good point today on SNL, and reminder to like the video, subscribe, right along, all that. But I said this, I've seen this movie before. He said the movie just started. And I think that's a good statement from Cody. The movie has just started, but it does look familiar. There was some, as DeMeco said, lollygagging. There was some struggles on offense, and the defense continued to ball out, and it wasn't enough. So that's the thing. And I've heard some people say, well, the honeymoon is over. So what does that mean? Like, what are you expecting? What's the expectation if the honeymoon is over? What does that mean? Like, do you want DeMeco Ryans on the hot seat? That's not happening. What does that mean if the honeymoon phase is over? Are you going to stop going to games? I don't know what I get what it means. Like he might be criticized. He's not immune to criticism. It's not just ride or die gang. But while it's frustrating, he's also dealing in reality. It might be his own doing, and it might be a blind spot he has, but he's dealing in reality. And we're basing this on the last 20 games. The first game, hey, icing on the cake. We'll see. The first season, icing on the cake. We'll see what happens. You won the playoff game. You won the division, all that. Last year, a little bit disappointing, but still kind of that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think people just want division titles. I think there's enough talent there to figure it out. But he is dealing in reality. But you at some point, if this continues and this is and a larger sample size develops, and we're looking at this for 2 straight years with 2 different coordinators, you got to look at the guys that are the constants. That's just common sense. And one of those guys is CJ Stroud, and CJ Stroud actually took some blame today. We'll hear from CJ Stroud in a second, but this is the biggest Texans battle right now. It's reality and it's versus mindset and what that looks like. I also have the 5 most important things for the offense a little bit later on. We're going to do a sleeper pick as well. But before all that, let's go to the super chat real quick here on another live edition of the Locker Room.
You ain't never hate. Swarm.
Malik is clarifying. Appreciate you, man. My bad if I misunderstood. He said, I meant excluding 2 on CJ. OL wasn't perfect though. Yeah, they weren't perfect. That's for sure. And some would say, 2 were on CJ. Some would say 1. The pocket presence was definitely something that DeMeco did mention. But I feel you. And look, when you've been watching bad offensive line play, like we've become accustomed to, like as bad as that would be for most normal teams, it is kind of like, oh, well, maybe they could have made do with that. We've seen them do it with worse. MHW Nation, I'm not sure Todd Bowles pays attention to his offense the same as DeMeco does, and he is also defensive minded. Yeah, but Todd's done a good job of finding people that he trusts to run his offense. I think Todd Bowles is one of the more underrated. I think he's an underappreciated coach. I think he's done a hell of a job battling. Baker Mayfield was a lost cause before they brought him in. And Todd Bowles has done a good job. Like, you know what Todd Bowles has done that DeMeco Ryans hasn't done? And I'm not going to sit here and talk about, I'm not going to talk about what he did with Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, he trusted Tom Brady to run his offense, which a lot of people can. But then he trusted Dave Canales to run his offense, and he trusted Liam Cohen. Todd Bowles has had 2 offensive coordinators, and maybe this is a Baker thing as much as anything, but that have become head coaches in the NFL. Texans had to fire Bobby Slowick, and they just hired Nick Caley, and we'll see what happens with Nick Caley. I'm still a Nick Caley guy. I want to make that clear. I'm not out on Nick Caley at all. Nick. But you just got to wonder, what kind of weaponry does he have, and what does it look like when he has to adjust? He definitely has to adjust. You got to feed Nico, and you got to figure that out. and we got to see improvement from CJ Stroud from week to week under him. But the one thing that Todd Bowles has done that's completely different from DeMeco early, smaller sample size, is 2 offensive coordinators, 2 head coaches. That's pretty damn impressive, to say the very least. So I think Todd Bowles gets crap that he doesn't deserve. I respect the hell out of what Todd Bowles has done, and I think he deserves a lot of respect. I just like DeMeco does as well, but Todd Bowles, most people know that DeMeco is a good coach. Todd Bowles, I don't think he's ever fully gotten the respect. Have the Jets even been as good since he left? Kind of feels like they're hoping Aaron Glenn is Todd Bowles. So I'm a Todd Bowles fan. 300 A-Doe on the super chat.
You ain't never hate. Swarm.
Did see y'all at Spanky's chat? Hell yeah. See you there, 300. Come up, say what's up. We'll be there at 3. We've got the equipment tested. We've got some stuff to give away. Get out to Spanky's tomorrow, and we'll set Friday off for sure. 2 o'clock happy hour. Can't wait to see y'all there. Look forward to that, Ado and everyone else. Be sure to come through and enjoy. It's going to be fun. What else is fun is my backyard, Texans turf. I love Texans turf. If you have a beautiful front yard, that's great. If you have a beautiful backyard and you love your grass, that's good. But the reality is in Houston, a lot of times grass can be a pain. A lot of times it's unsafe. The dog gets itchy. The baby gets itchy. There's mud being drug in. A lot of times the maintenance is not really worth the effort. Or you have a small yard and it's kind of a waste of time to do. But that's why I went to Texans turf as a customer, and I developed a relationship with Dan and his team. I think they're the best. Whether you want a putting green, play area, whatever, it stays clean. It stays fresh. It's easier to clean up after the dog. And it's one of the best things I did to my crib. I love my backyard right now. You just water it every once in a while. There's special rakes and stuff, but you really don't have to do much to it, and it stays looking great, feeling great, all of that. So if you've thought about this turf game, there's a lot of ads on social media. Trust me, I shopped around. I did the shopping for you, and where I arrived was at Texans turf. A lot of people I know have done the same thing. And I think whether you're a big baller, whether you're someone that's just living in a normal neighborhood and you want to make your home look better, Texans Turf's got you covered. They won't rip you off. I can assure you, Dan and his team, let them do for you what they did for me. Go to TexansTurf.com and they got you covered. Let's hear from CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud had some interesting things to say today, specifically about Nick Caley. He says that he needs to help Nick Caley and help him do a better job of executing. God, they love that word around there. But here's what CJ Stroud had to say about his new OC.
We got to help Kels out, man. I think that's my biggest thing personally, and I think for the guys is not giving. What play are you going to call on 2nd and 15, 2nd and 25? And we've had these problems for years, So 3rd and 14, 3rd and 12, like you can't live in that. And we do our coaches discourtesy of that and that's controllable by us. So I think that's a start. Personally, I got to be better, just pocket movements and checking the ball down when I need to check it down, and at the same time staying aggressive. So I think we just need to build a rhythm early on better, and I think we'll be better from that.
And I think that's good. And you hear that, and he's talking about the O-line, and then he's talking about himself, and then he's talking about being aggressive. And one has to think that part of being aggressive is, okay, there might be someone on Nico Collins. You got to force the rock somewhat to Nico Collins. Like the target share that he had the other day can't happen. Whether that's Nick Caley getting him involved in the quick game, whatever, that cannot happen. And CJ Stroud knows that he's got to feed the beast.
It's our job to find ways to get it to him. And I thought we could have, definitely I could have done a better job of getting him the rock when he was open. And, I think he's going to show up big time. Every dog has his day, and Nico's a ground at the mouth like a Rottweiler, trying to get that ball. And so I'm excited to see. And I'm always looking for 12, man. That's never a question. So yeah, he'll be all right.
Well, I mean, always except last game. And I anticipate that Nico Collins is going to get a heavy dose. First play of the game, either a shot down the field or the bubble screen to Nico. I think that's going to happen. And that's something that probably should have been done in the first place. The rookies, they didn't look good the other day. We'll see if they're going to get help. I think Christian Kirk is the long shot. I could see Berrios perhaps a little bit more likely. Someone in the chat brings up an interesting point as we're hearing from CJ Stroud. This is from Joseph. He says, bruh, watching Jordan Love operate without getting touched in the pocket is so maddening. If CJ that type of time, he'd be so elite. I get it, but I also think Jordan Love kind of buys time himself. Like, I understand what you're saying, but I think Jordan Love helps his offensive line. Now, his offensive line, better than the Texans. Nobody's denying that. But I do think he's a guy that helps his offensive line. The question is CJ a guy that can consistently help his offensive line? He said he needs to work on his pocket presence. We've seen him do it. It's not like it's something that we haven't been sitting around for 3 years. We've been sitting around for 3 years, damn near 3 years with the DeMeco and CJ era, and we've been waiting for good offensive line play. But we have seen CJ Stroud elevate a very shaky offensive line and a shaky offensive line situation in year one. And that's one of the big mysteries when you talk about these things is you hear CJ Stroud, talk about this, and we talk about CJ Stroud, but we have seen him do it. So that's the real mystery is that offensive line, that makeshift offensive line that they had in year one, where has that been and where has that gone? That's the real question. It is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans digital content. SNL live at 4:00. The Texans Collective as well. You can subscribe to that. I think we're well over 1,000 subscribers. We'll be live Tuesday at 6. Myself, Stoots, Reginald Atatula, and the great Sean Pendergast. So right along with that, the third project with me and Cody, going to start calling ourselves the Kings of the Stream. Let's hear a little bit more from CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, I don't want to say he's preaching patience, but he does seem to believe that it might take some time with this offense.
Watching a lot of film of New England back when they were like in 2002, 2003, 2004. They didn't, and now of course they won, but they didn't look like what they did in their strong run right away. And of course that's the goal, to get it as quick as possible, but sometimes it's not the reality. So I'm trying my best to keep our guys' mojo up, and I think we're doing a good job of it.
I wonder, he said watching, and I just wondered, is it the Texans or is it CJ Stroud watching that? I don't know what you gain from watching the early 2000 Patriots, especially on offense. I don't think you strive to be that offense. Defense was good. Offense wasn't great. But, the Patriot way has kind of been a sensitive thing. Maybe it's just CJ kind of being historic and looking at what this current system is and where it started and the peak of it. But I don't know what watching the early 2000s Patriots does, but apparently they're doing that around there. So I'm sure Nick Caserio enjoys it and has some really, really good memories about it. Other thing that I found interesting from CJ Stroud, and I asked him, you and Nick Caley, you're working together for the first time. Offensive coordinator, quarterback after a bad game. Like, what's the dynamic of that, and how is y'all's dynamic? He kind of elaborated this a little bit later, but this is how he answered the question when I asked him.
What's the dynamic and collaboration like between quarterback and offensive coordinator after a tough game, and what's it been like the first time around with Nick Caley?
It's good. It's like everything in life. You don't just go out there and sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but most of the time you don't go out there and just ace it. So there's a communication that you have to have. I think he does a good job of asking me a lot of questions. I ask him a lot of questions. So figure it out and, move on.
Okay. Figure it out, move on. So there you go. And this is going to be one of the big tests for Nick Caley. He's going against Todd Bowles. It'll be kind of a chess match. It's a different way of attack, but I'm sure he's kind of familiar with it. I'm sure that they've crossed paths a number of times, and we'll see what CJ does. The one thing that I think he needs to do, and this was a back and forth that I had with him, and I think it was one of the best things that he did the other day, was use his legs. He needs to do that consistently. He's pretty good at it. And when the offensive line is breaking down, use the legs. Without him doing that, they might have had a 3-piece, perhaps, when it came to points. But he used his legs, led to a field goal at the end of the half, and led to a field goal when they took the 3-0 lead. He needs to use the legs. I know it's not always easy. There's a little balance to it. Here's CJ Stroud talking about that when I asked him.
How did you feel you used your legs in the first half to move the chains a couple times, led to points? Were you pleased with the way that you did that?
Yeah, I was. I thought I did it when I should have, and thought I made some plays. So I thought it went well.
Is that kind of like when you're in the pocket, you're getting pressured? Is there kind of like a balance between hanging in there and trying to find the receiver and use the legs? Is that one of the tougher battles for a quarterback?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you don't run, everybody's like, oh, he should have ran, and when you don't throw, he should have threw it. So I'm always wrong. But it's cool. Like it's part of the game, and I love watching it. I think some of the best guys in the league are like Burrow. He does a great job of it. Lamar. I think Lamar is to me, of course, he's very dynamic running the ball, but he's a pass guy, and he does a really good job of sitting in the pocket and only standing when he has to. So, I think when I watch games around the league, a lot of guys do it well, and I try to just be one of those guys as well.
He is good at it, and I do. There is a lot of similarities in how he looks doing it and how Burrow looks. Like, neither of them are freak athletes. I mean, like, as far as you don't think of them as like true dual threat quarterbacks, but when they tuck it and run, it always seems to be very purposeful whenever they do it. It always seems to be very purposeful, and CJ's better at it than he probably gets credit for. And he tends to do it in big games. He tends to do it in like bigger games, which is probably something that he needs to do a little bit more consistent, because I think it is one of his skills. And I think it is one of the keys for sure. Before we get to the 5 offensive things to watch, let's talk about Sleeper. Shout out to Sleeper, the higher lower game, best app in the game. Sleeper. And I am going to put together a higher lower myself. If you want to play, you can get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Just use the promo code Locker. A lot of you already have. We have a winning record this year, and we're going to do a little 3-piece tomorrow. So here's what we're going to do tomorrow on the Sleeper, or this weekend, I should say. I'm taking Nico Collins over 5.5 receptions. They've said that they're going to throw him the rock, so I'm going to believe them, and I'm going to go over 5.5 receptions. There could be some dump-offs. They count as catches. I'm going to go under on Baker Mayfield passing yards. I think DeMeco Ryans can probably make life tough for Baker Mayfield. We don't know what the offensive line of Tampa Bay is going to look like. We know the Texans have a good defense. We know the secondary, there's kind of like some nitpicking going on, so I think they're going to be good. So under 226 for Baker. And then Nick Chubb, 51.5. I think this is kind of an overreaction to what happened. And I just don't think the high workload for Nick Chubb is ideal. So that's mine. 5-1 odds right there. If you want to get on it, go to Sleeper, download the app, get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Use the code Locker. Also, check out everything else they got going on the app. It's like a sports heaven. It's peaceful too. It's not like normal sports social media. It's very peaceful, very good vibe out there at Sleeper. So check it out. That's my 3-piece right there. So 5 things, top 5 things that I think the offense we need to watch in week 2. Top 5 offensive things to watch. Number 1, we just heard CJ talk about it when I asked him about it. Number 1 is we need to watch CJ's legs. He's got to use the legs. He knows it. They know it. So CJ Stroud with the legs is number one. Got to extend plays. Got to step up in the pocket, run, move the chains when you can. Running the ball traditionally, although Nick Chubb did show some good things, it's not ideal. So CJ Stroud's legs is number one. Number two, Nico targets. Got to get that target share up. Double digits if you have to. Even if it's short, whatever. If he's covered, whatever. Sometimes when good wide receivers are covered, they're really not covered. They go up and get the rock. So Nico targets is number two. And these are two things that have been mentioned in public. Third one is the running back pie. This one's on Nick Caley. This one ain't on CJ. This one's on Nick Caley. How he's slicing up that pie. Nick. Not the Spanky's pie, which we'll be eating tomorrow, but the running back pie. How you slicing it up? You giving Nick Chubb more to eat? Are you going to insert Woody Marks? Are we still going to do this Dameon Pierce thing? Is Dare Ogunbowale still going to get it? How are you going to do it? Got to divide it up. That's, you talk about the 2000s Patriots and the Patriot teams. That was one of the things that they did very well, and it wasn't always big names. So how are you going to divide up that pie, Nick Caley? You got to figure that out, and you got to divide it up, and you got to figure, are they just going to start handing it to Nick Chubb every time and hoping he can turn back the clock? I don't know, but they need to figure something out. Number 4, the tight end juggling. Harrison Bryant, Dalton Schultz are your 2 tight ends. Jakob Johnson, we call him a half tight end because he's also a fullback. How are they going to do that? Are they going to run much 12 personnel? I would say probably not. But we'll see what Harrison Bryant looks like and how much they can actually trust him. So that's number 4. And number 5, the number 5 thing to watch is the starting 5 on the O-line. Don't anticipate Jake Andrews playing. Jared Patterson. CJ said his nickname was Slime, which was one of the more surprising things. I don't think of him as someone that they call Slime, but maybe it has something to do with the backside. But the starting offensive line, do they move Ursery back to the left side, move Titus back to right tackle? Is Ingram going to be able to go? That's another question. He was limited in practice today with the abdomen. And the other thing is, can he play? Because that was the big question. You ask people in Minnesota, they say no. They say he is Kenyon Green, the Minnesota version. So can he play? If he's going, is that even really a good thing? That's something we want to check out, but it'll be the closest thing to the starting 5, the offensive line that they wanted to have. Back on the super chat, Malik says, seems like lately the faith in CJ has faded for you. I think it's remained pretty consistent. I have fine faith in CJ. I think he's fine. I don't think he has to do extra. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's elite. I think he's, right there on the second tier and maybe not even at the top of the second tier, but I haven't lost any faith in CJ. We got to see something. We got to see some life from CJ. There were times last year where he just kind of appeared lifeless. He even mentioned his body language. So I think he's good. I think he's real good. I think he's solid. He's obviously your long-term quarterback. But there's a high standard for him. So I have fine faith in CJ, and I think this is really going to have to be a complimentary ball club. Not like the cliche where the coaches say complimentary football, but it's going to have to be complimentary. And I said this after the loss. If Dare Ogunbowale doesn't fumble, and let's say CJ Stroud throws a touchdown, we're talking about how gutsy things were. And that was the New England recipe. We talk about the 2000s Patriots, that was it. Grab-ass offense for however long, and then at the end of the game, boom, Tom Brady flips the switch, they find a way to win. He did everything that he needed to do in that situation. He didn't fumble the ball. Dare Ogunbowale fumbled the ball. So, no, my faith is fine in CJ Stroud. I think the best thing that can happen is that CJ Stroud, we look at CJ Stroud and we say, okay, this guy has the clutch gene. And that opportunity was taken from him by a guy who's pretty much a special teamer that for whatever reason was in the game in that type of a situation. So my faith is fine in CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud will be fine. Is Herbert better than CJ? He was last year. I mean, I know the playoff game people point to and the Texans won, but he was last year and he's been so far this year. He was ass in the playoffs, but I mean, they're in the same tier. It's hit or miss. Joseph T says he's tired of having questions on the O-line. Fitzpatrick just talked about it. All the talking heads talk about it. Caserio needs to make something happen or he's got to go. So you want to fire Nick Caserio because of his clear soft spot on the offensive line. Fair enough. Fair enough. Remember CJ asking Patterson to tuck in a towel on the back end of last year. Yeah. Grapha0713 says offensively establish the offense from the jump, get rid of the ball fast, utilize our tight ends and running backs. I disagree. Like, what tight ends do you want to utilize, though? I get with the running backs more than the wideouts, but which tight ends are you trying to utilize? Are you trying to free Harrison Bryant? Is it hashtag free Harrison Bryant season? Is that where we're at? That is tough. I get what you're trying to say, but I don't know that they have tight ends to utilize. They have one who's okay, but I don't know that they have tight ends that they can utilize. The tight ends are all hurt, two of them, and it was never like a strength of the team to begin with. So I don't know about the tight end utilization. Here we go. Louise says, would you give CJ an extension? You don't have to make that decision until after this year. He's not even eligible. But he's getting it. He's getting it. And it's going to be high. It's going to be top 5 QB money, top 10 worst case scenario. Like that's what's going to happen. It's a matter of how you're going to feel about it. And then things are going to become more difficult and you're going to have to hit on picks. They failed him when it came to surrounding him with the extra cap space they had when he was on his rookie contract. Like, that's the bottom line. They failed him. They didn't use that money wisely. They built a good team, but they didn't use that money wisely. No organization is going to be perfect, but they failed in that area. And that was well documented. Like, as soon as you get a rookie quarterback, you talk about that 3-year window with the extra cap space. They failed him. They paid Dalton Schultz. They paid 3 offensive linemen that they didn't have faith in. 1, they moved inside, then outside, whatever. They traded for Stephon Diggs. That didn't really work out. So they kind of failed there in that. But yeah, he's going to get an extension. I don't think it's time to really think about that. That's going to happen. 100% going to happen. Chef says we need to get more creative play calling or some outside the box stuff. But let's be honest, probably and most likely unlikely. Again, if Dare Ogunbowale doesn't fumble, think about this. Like, if Dare Ogunbowale doesn't fumble, then you're what? 30 yards away with a minute and a half? Now, it still wouldn't be a beginning to end offensive performance, but you maybe could have gutted out the game. So it's kind of one of those things where, and this can be connected too with the running back position and the way they've handled it, but it could have completely changed. Could have completely changed. Holton says, is it time to throw some picks to go get, say, Pitts? Michael Penix seems to like Pitts. I know Pitts is always the name that people throw out because he obviously hasn't reached the level that they thought he would when they drafted him at that point in the draft. And if you've had him in fantasy, you probably are a little bit sour on Kyle Pitts as well. I think most people have made that mistake. I actually haven't somehow, but it's not because I wouldn't have. I just think someone else just did it for me. But I don't think Kyle Pitts is available right now. Penix seems to kind of like him. So there might be a little bit of a revival there. I think the tight end that I would look at if you're looking for a trade would be Njoku with the Browns. Harold Fandon, I think, played 73% of the snaps, something like that. They drafted him in the 3rd round out of Bowling Green. We actually kind of liked him heading into the draft. you could see a scenario where maybe Njoku gets traded, and I think that would work. I mean, that's a nice target. That's a big guy. But I don't think Kyle Pitts is really on the market right now at all. So, yeah. Njoku might have something. Washington, I don't think Washington's really someone that you really want at this point. But, yeah, he was a massive mofo coming out of Georgia for sure. Who knows, though? It'll be fun. We got some stuff to watch on the offense. DeMeco says that the O-line was good. He also praised Nick Caley and praised a lot of things, but kind of questioned CJ Stroud's pocket presence. He's dealing in reality, though. The offensive line, pat on the head. The defense, kick in the ass. That's the life of DeMeco Ryans. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. This one's a little bit shorter. Typically, Thursdays go well over an hour, as do most days, but it was a light day of practice today, and not many people spoke in the locker room. Normally, we would go through what everyone said. They're going to talk tomorrow and Saturday. I have to cover a practice on Saturday, so that'll be fun. And I'll probably do a stream on Saturday as well, just to give the nugs from that, maybe even the money quotes. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Hope to see y'all at Spanky's. Thanks to Texans Turf and thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Don't forget, promo code LOCKER when you go to Sleeper. You will not regret it. Higher, lower, one of the best games there is. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. We got a fun next couple days ahead.
Aim in the headlock, localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in, daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.